Hey viewers, back at it again, do another weekend project. Today we're going to do something simple, easy, and fixable. We're going to change the inner and outer tie rods on this 2004 Cadillac Escalade. Let me tell you why we're changing the inner and outer tie rods. I'm going to put the camera here. Check this out, guys. See all that play? And also on this side, the passenger side, check this out. See that? Too much play. So I'm checking for the wheel bearings. Everything looks good when I move it on the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, but once I do the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, a lot of play. So we're going to go ahead and change both the inner and outer tie rod on the passenger and driver side. So let's go ahead and get this project started. Alright, and here we are. This is the outer tie rod and this is the inner tie rod. So we're going to go ahead and start removing a couple components. Let me get you guys a better angle here. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and remove, we're going to remove this jam nut. All it is, just take a if you have a nice size crescent wrench, you can go ahead and we're going to back out the jam nut. Back it out a little bit, not a whole lot, like so. And once we back out the jam nut, we're going to go ahead and loosen the castle nut here that's holding the outer tie rod. Just going to do that real quick. Okay, so for this specific tie rod end, this is a 18 millimeter nut. Just gonna remove that real quick. There we go. And the next step, there are two ways to remove the tie rod end. You can use a puller, or if you have a nice hammer, you can hit it right here, and that would kind of break it loose. So let me go ahead and see what I have in my toolbox, and then we'll continue. Alright guys, so I'm going to use my Thor hammer to break this bad boy loose. Again, just hit it right here on the steering knuckle, and this should pop up. Alright, so kind of get a good grip, and be careful not to hit the rotor. Here we go. Let's see how many impacts it takes. 1. Alright. Alright, it's loose. There we go. Now, if you're only changing the outer tie rod, and you're not changing the inner tie rod, all you would do here, you'll go ahead and turn this outer tie rod out counterclockwise, and you'll count the turns, and then when you put the new outer tie rod, you'll put it back with whatever turns it took it to turn out. Now this is just only if you're replacing the outer tie rod. In this case, we're going to replace the whole assembly, the inner and outer. So I'm going to skip this step because I'm going to go ahead and remove the auto tie rod using a nice size crescent wrench. And then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to measure the distance from the outer tie rod to the inner tie rod, and then I'm going to go ahead and put everything back. Again, you will need an alignment, so I'm just going to closely get it where it needs to be, so that way the customer could drive the truck to get it aligned. Okay, again, pretty simple, straightforward. So let me kind of show you how we're going to take out that inner tie rod. Okay, so to remove the inner tie rod, I'm going to use a nice size crescent wrench like this. This is, I think, 18-inch crescent wrench. You could get this at your local auto parts store. But in order for us to get this inner tie rod out, we're going to go ahead and put the crescent wrench. You see this nut here? We're going to go ahead and just lock it in place. And then we're going to go ahead and do lefty-loosey. Just give yourself a nice leverage. And we're going to go ahead and pull it, turn it. There we go, like so. And then we're just going to go ahead and back it up. Like so. And the reason I want to show you guys, see how much play there is. That should not be happening at all. So again, this is your I think this is original outer tie rod and inner tie rod. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start removing this, and then once we're done, I'm gonna go ahead and put the torque specs here on the screen to how much it has to be tying it. And then once we install it, we're gonna go ahead and re-grease here. We're going to put some grease on it so that way it can be nice and greased. So let me go and remove this, and then we'll come. Okay guys, so the next step, once we have the inner and outer tie rod, again, I'm just going to go ahead and measure the length of the end all the way to the length of where this is, and this is actually exactly 16 inches and 1/8. So all I'm gonna do, this is the part number for the outer tie rod, and this is the part number for the outer tie rod, and this is the part number for the inner tie rod. So all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and take these out. And I know guys, it varies from manufacturer to manufacturer. Again, I'm just trying to get it as close as I can to where it's gonna be. It's not gonna be perfect, but that's just enough to get the customer to the shop to get in line. The good thing is that this inner tie rod has blue Loctite, which is highly recommended to put some in case you don't have it, so that way it can really have a nice tight fit. And I'm gonna get the outer tie rod, and this one comes with the nipple to, don't forget to put this on, and then we're gonna go in and make sure we grease it. But I'm also gonna go get some anti-seize, and I'm going to put some here, so that way when I put this outer tie rod, if in the future whenever the customer wants to get realigned, they could align it and doesn't rust into it. So let me go and do that real quick, and then we'll come back. Alright guys, so I'm just going to put a little bit of an anti-seize, just a tiny bit, so that way again, this doesn't get really rusted. And next time there's an alignment done, the customer could go ahead and have no problems. So let me go ahead and put this in there like so. And again, I'm just measuring the distance of the tie rod, inner tie rod and outer tie rod that we took out, and it's 16 and 1/8. and that's gonna go ahead and be on the spot right there. And then I'm gonna go ahead, once I have the correct measurement, I'm gonna go ahead and just not tighten it, but just kind of get it close to it. I'm gonna tighten it once I put this in the back in the truck. So let me go do that real quick, and we're gonna go ahead and install it back on the truck. Alright, here we go. Give you guys a good angle there. Don't forget to clean around here, because we're going to go ahead and make sure we re-grease back here. And I'm gonna slowly put this in here like so. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn this inside and get it where it needs to be. So let me go and do that real quick. Okay guys, once you get this torque, the next step, we're gonna go ahead and install the tie rod end to a steering knuckle. According to the service manual, this is gonna get torqued to 44 foot-pounds. The castle nut. Now this specific tie rod end has a cotter pin, so we're gonna go ahead and put this in here like so. And we're gonna go ahead and torque this bad boy again. It's gonna be to 44 foot-pound of torque. And this is a 22 millimeter castle nut. Actually, let me get the castle nut real quick size. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and torque this bad boy to 44 foot-pounds. Gonna do that real quick. Alright, I'm just gonna make sure that the cotter pin goes in there. It's a little bit more. Never back it out to put the cotter pin. If you have to, move it forward until the cotter pin goes in. Just a little bit more. There we go. Once we get that cotter pin in, I'm gonna bend this bad boy like so. And then last step, we're gonna go ahead and tighten this nut here. According to the service manual, this gets tightened to 55 foot-pounds, but I don't have a crow foot to snuggle in, so I'm just gonna go ahead. And there you go, my friends. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the tire back on, and we're gonna go ahead and grease. I'm gonna grease this, and also I'm gonna grease the bottom here. Just be careful not to overdo it. Once you see the boot getting bigger, go ahead and stop, so that way you don't over grease it. Alright guys, so now that I have everything put back together, I'm gonna show you what it should look like without any play. I'm actually having my hand on the 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock position, and I'm shaking it. See that? It won't move at all. No play whatsoever before you're able to move it. And also on this one, there's no play at all as well. I'll show you guys. I have my 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Nothing. No play whatsoever. So again, wanted to show you guys how it should be after you put the tie rods, inner and outer tie rods. And don't forget guys to go get it aligned, so that we can get a nice even drive. Alright guys, thanks again for watching.